Hi, I'm Paul. In this video, I'm going to talk more about non-duality. And by the way, I hate using the word non-duality. I've hated it for a long time. The reason why it's kind of like talking about God. And when I mention the word God to you, then you're going to have an extremely different description to if I mention the word God to you or to you. I think it's the same with non-duality. So I hate using it, but I kind of can't find a way around using it. But some of the points which I'm going to touch on today is in reference to seeking and overcoming seeking or not seeking. A lot of people who are trying to find non-duality are seeking, trying to find the right place. Although seeking, I think, is quite important, especially towards the beginning of trying to find your way to non-duality. After speaking to somebody today who was referring to using the mind to find the mind, I think that you have to at the beginning, so you turn the mind against itself and start questioning all of what the mind's beliefs have always been. I do think that's quite essential. But there is a turning point to when you start turning inwards, and that isn't the mind against the mind. It is slightly different. I'm sure I heard an article somewhere about some psychologist. I'm not sure if she was a professor or not, but she said that people who are the most self-aware are not self-aware. I suppose in some aspects that's quite correct, but if you look into it a little bit deeper, I think what she's trying to describe is people who are using the mind to seek the mind aren't really any more self-aware. Just because by using mind, you're just rewriting stories, essentially. You use the mind against the mind, so you pick a story, and then you look into it, you rearrange it, and now you've still got another story. But I think if you look into this deeper, you would see that self-aware is not it's not something seeking. So self-aware is being the self who is aware and being in that position. So you're not seeking away from the awareness itself. You're sitting in the awareness. But many people who do seek, I say, it is quite important at the beginning, it is essential, but there is a turning point. But a lot of us are stuck in this seeking. It's like, I'll just seek that little bit further. I'm just going to keep on going, and then finally I'll make it there. But where is there? It's here. You never move away as much as you seek. It's like having a circle with a dot in the middle of it. You're here on the dot. You're always here, really. But the more that you seek, you're not going to get any closer to this dot. You're going to move away from the dot continuously. So the idea is to stop seeking and just be. But a lot of people do find that quite hard, and it kind of sounds like what I'm saying there is the seeking is the wrong idea. But it isn't. Seeking is part of it. Both the seeking and the sought are the same thing. You can't have the sought without the seeking. But the idea is not to fix too much onto the seeking, which is the same as saying don't fix too much onto the ideas and the thoughts. So when seeking, you come up with an idea and you go, yeah, this is it. Oh, wow, this is fantastic. I finally made it there. You're just not making it there. You're already here. Both before the seeking, with the seeking, and after the seeking. I think the main point of this is to understand that the journey is the destination. You're not trying to skip this to find the end. It's about being in this every moment. A lot of us try to seek because we just want to escape this. We want to escape the pain. We want to escape the bad thoughts, the bad emotions. The only way really to escape them is to see them, to sit with them. Let's just say I've got a bad leg, a sore leg, a pain in my leg. That leg, which is sore, sit with it. Don't run away from the pain. You will see that it's not pain. Most of the suffering is the resistance to suffering. So if we say about the sore leg and you want to resist the pain, you'll start talking about the pain. God, my leg's so painful. Oh, it's driving me mad. I hate this. And you're just living in a space of thought. That thought is not the pain itself. You're trying to seek away from the pain. And we do the same with emotions and thoughts that we don't like. We're always trying to seek away from them. But when we accept them, accept the pain, just sit with it, you start to see that it's not as bad as what you thought. You start to enjoy it, strangely enough. Unless it's really bad pain. I mean, I've had toothache and I've not been able to find peace in that. But the idea of non-duality is to find the peace in everything in the moment, all the time, continuously, and not start seeking away, trying to explain things, trying to understand other things, or thinking there's something better around the corner, or there's a place to go to, or it's just turning backwards on yourself. I find meditation is quite helpful for this. But I think it's mainly helpful because it helps train concentration. One thing that's never talked about with non-duality, or very little talked about it, is concentration or focus. And that seems to be one of the key features of it all. Because when you're off seeking, trying to find something better, I'm going to reach it if I do this. This is a brilliant video. I can't wait to go through this video. Well, by the end of this video, I'll know everything. The point is to just be here, now. But then the mind gets distracted and then it sends off again, trying to find something else. So when I say about concentration, I think it's one of the best tools you can have. And it's just be able to concentrate on this moment now. Stay here. And then when the mind drifts away, you just bring yourself back here. And then it drifts away and you bring yourself back here. And by staying here, it takes concentration. And that's why I think meditation is quite a good tool. You're training yourself to be able to concentrate and strengthening your concentration so that you drift away less. I suppose another important note to make on the point where I was saying that there's kind of a crossover from seeking to finally resting is about knowing. Well, I think that's quite an important point to make, because what finally finding your resting place in the now is all about, is knowing. But what you've got to be careful of is it's not about knowing. You get me? Mm. In fact, before I go a bit more into this, one thing I have learned a lot of lately on my journey is finding that two different things that you can say, or you can say one thing and then say exactly the same, and they can be entirely different. And that's because it's all about the context that you're in. It's all about the motivations of the situation, of what people are saying and so on. But anyway, the important bit to make the crossover, I think, from seeking to resting is about knowing, but not knowing. And what I mean by this is when you stop seeking, you start to look within and you know, but this is a felt knowing. So you recognize your mind isn't wandering off trying to find something next. What do I say next? And so on. You just sit and you know, and you feel to know. Kind of like a gut feeling, I guess. But the seeking sort of the knowing wants to seek to know knowledge. You know, it's amazing how many people I talk to about some of my realizations, and I talk about it, and then they go off and start hunting in the dictionary to try and prove me wrong, or read a book, or try and find out something on the internet. And it's like, really? You can't look yourself? You can't look within yourself and work out that? You have to seek knowledge to try and explain something? Anyway, I do find that a lot. So the idea is stop trying to hunt for an explanation of things. Just sit, look within, and wait. And usually things will come, as long as you've not got a chat in mind which just distracts you away. So you find that when your mind starts to calm down and settle, you do start to know more. And that's because your ego, which is always trying to find more, always trying to seek, always trying to find alternate explanations, always talking, stops you from focusing on the true thing that you're trying to focus on. Makes too much clutter. Kind of like saying, if I was to hold my hand up here and I put my finger in front of my hand, if you put all of your focus on my finger, let's call that the ego. So you're putting all your focus on the talking, and you can't see what's really going on here. You've probably only got maybe 5% awareness of what's going on here. But when we take away the thoughts, the ego, you can focus on what's truly there. And when I say what's truly there, you can look at anything like a tree. If you're going to talk about the tree, I know what that tree is. I've seen that tree before, I read about it. Yeah, it's got leaves on it at the moment, but it won't do soon. Then you're not going to see the real tree. Or at least you're not going to focus much on it. So you do find that when your ego falls away, you tend to know more. Surprising how many people have to talk about things and think that's the way it is. I remember going out with someone for a walk in the woodlands, and when I observed all the things what he was talking about, he was always talking about what wasn't there. So he could talk about the tree, but he was talking about the tree in a way that it wasn't in this moment. Like, oh, look at that tree. If you think in another few weeks there'll be no leaves on that tree. Yeah, but there is right now. Or they'll look at an owl in the woodlands and say, oh, it's a bit early in the daytime for that to be there. But it is. Many people do this. Rather than seeing what's there, we want to add all of our stories on top of it and make new descriptions. Turning reality into fantasy. Anyway, I think I've finished my waffling now. So thanks very much for listening.